this case? Why a condominium instead of a house or some other sort of form of hard asset?
I'm really glad you asked that, because what I love about this show is Kevin is always talking about the equity markets and investing in things that have dividend and yields. Rental condominiums rent. In Toronto, we've got vacancy rates at all-time lows, 1.6%, announced by CMHC in April of this year. We've got highest immigration levels that we've ever seen. And on a comparative basis, you had to buy gold 5 years ago to go 105% increase. The average price of a house in Toronto has increased by 87% on the Toronto Real Estate Boards. I think a home, a condominium, is a great investment.
Aren't you guys troubled by that kind of a statistic? You know, huge returns over a short period of time, and a huge and an unbelievable amount of supply. You can just look anywhere in Toronto now, and the shoebox condos are just springing up like fungus. So at what point do you think it cracks? Because it always has. It can't be different this time.
You know, the Cheryl came, I wish I knew where she came up with this oversupply number. Right now, CMHC, that does the most exhaustive research on household formations in Ontario, they said the GTA is producing about 33,000 new households a year. We deliver about 15,000 condos a year. And what's happening right now is that you're seeing a lot of condos, but there's no single-family houses being built. And you know what? We're not proponents of saying invest in condos. We're just kind of giving reality what it is right now. Why are people buying? It's because they're getting good yields. They wouldn't be investing if they weren't making money.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, an investor that's looking at their current portfolio, whether it be $250,000 or $500,000, I'm suggesting we are saying put a portion of it into a condominium.
And so, well, let's talk about sort of how that works. What are the mechanics of that? I decide I want to buy a condo. How do I know one building from another? What's the right price range that makes sense? Do you lay all of this out in your book?
Oh, my goodness. There's no magic answer to this, and that's why we spent 10 months writing this book. Being close to the subway doesn't make the prices go up. There's a lot of different things, and we put it down, and you have to be able to decide based on the pros and cons of an individual project with the individual unit on what would happen to that condo.
Is it safer for somebody to just go buy a condo REIT, so they have huge diversification, they've got management picking, making these decisions, and right now they could get a 4 or 5% yield on that? It's very similar to, you know, assuming no capital appreciation on buying your own condo.
I guess the problem is that you can't live in that. And there's people are buying condos just more than just investing. They maybe, you know, rent it out for 3 years and move a kid in, put in both their kids and their names to be able to transfer wealth. They're not just investing to speculate on price appreciation.
And you got to talk about this. If you take a look at the REIT market, over 5 years, REITs have lost 17% aggregate, as opposed to houses in Toronto. And the big issue is you're forgetting leverage. The whole point about condominiums and real estate, when you're buying an investment condominium, you can leverage an investor up to 80% of the value in debt. Debt that's costing right now on a 5-year fixed 3.2.
What about buying pre-construction versus post? Is there some kind of additional advantage to getting in early?
You mean buying pre-construction versus an existing building on the resale market? Well, pre-construction has been going up faster than the resale market, and so people are getting more yields for it. And I guess the biggest thing is that people are looking at, well, maybe for 3 or 4 years, I don't have to get a tenant. I could just let the market go up and then get the tenant after 3 or 4 years. 3 or 4 years on the resale market, that building is going to be a little bit older, the maintenance fees are going to be a little bit higher. So that's the reason why people are going pre-construction right now.
And I've got an interesting stat on that, is that resale condominiums on the Toronto Real Estate Board over the last 5 years, and I'm targeting 5 years because that's when the boom happened, increased 101% on trip.
So there's just no bad data when it comes to condo, right?
You know what? I guess the biggest thing, land prices are going up really high right now, so that's driving up prices even more. We're getting to a point where if a developer is going to deliver a unit under $300,000, they're a lot smaller than they were 7 years ago. Is there going to be a time where investors and buyers and the end users are just going to say this is too small, it's too high, I'd rather go resale?
Randy?
Just want to talk about the world influx of money coming into Canada. Out of the G7 nations, Canada is there. We are a resource-rich country. We are the place to put money. Everyone wants to actually move here. And part of the strategy of investors today is the immigrant strategy. A lot of investors are putting in money to actually get an address here. So it's an advantage to be able to buy pre-construction.
Hot Asian money.
All right, we got to leave it there, guys. Brian Prasad, Randy Ramadhin, authors of the book Investing in Condominiums, Strategies, Tips, and Expert Advice for the Canadian Real Estate Investor. Thanks.